get a new character into the game. So good job, incredible. So let's start talking about all the new content that we've been working on that all of you are going to be playing very soon, hopefully.
Definitely.
Very hopefully. All right, that looks cool. Okay, like I said, my name is Gary Plattner. I'm the lead. So I've talked a lot before, if you've ever been to BlizzCon before, I've talked a lot about trees and rocks and grass and the environment, but I've never really talked before about the importance of lighting and our skyboxes. Lighting is huge. It's very emotional, very different. So here's the starting zone. What if we were to take this zone and completely relight it? We didn't change any other art. All we did was change the sky and change the direct light. They all look pretty cool, but they're all very different. So if we want a zone to feel scary or even dangerous or pleasant or happy, we're going to start doing that with lighting. You might recognize some of these skyboxes, by the way, too. What a big difference. So skyboxes. Skyboxes are another element that we can use to just add a little more whimsy, add a little more elements to the game. So all they are is a big piece of art that we can use to replace in the horizon. Lets us add a little more style to the game, a little more difference. We first started adding skyboxes in Nagrand, was our very first one. And we don't always have to use that. We could use procedural sky like this is computer-generated sky, looks pretty good. Or we'll go with the skybox if we want to be a little more stylistic. Or we'll go with both, like in this case. This is both a procedural sky and a hand-drawn sky. Really cool. Another big part of the game is something we call tile sets. All these are little textures that we can use to paint on the ground to create the game. There's been a lot of technical advancements in tile sets for this expansion. One of the coolest things, I think, okay, here I am just painting a texture at a normal resolution. We've used textures at about 256 forever. Before we're using 64. But check this out. I can actually scale the texture and scale the resolution of the texture. That's incredible. So I can make one texture that could replace the work that I have to do with 3 or 4 textures. So I'm doing one texture that can do all that work. And now I'm just painting in a little bit of rock or a little bit of grass. Just adds more creativity to the game. I think that's amazing. This is our editor, by the way, that we use to create WoW. So that's scalable textures. Another really cool thing, you'll see in a second, is something called height-based texturing, but it lets me paint, for example, snow inside the rocks of another texture, inside the cracks of another texture, rather. If I wanted to do this before, even just a few months ago, I would have had to create a texture with snow in the cracks, create a texture without snow, or create one, you know, a combination of rocks. I would have had to do that with 3 or 4 textures. Now I can basically take a rock texture and a snow texture and combine them any way I want to. This was impossible to do just a few months ago. It is incredible. Thanks, Marco. Very new tech, really exciting, just helps us make the world better. So check this out, this next scene, I'm gonna be painting some rock textures on the ground, and I'm gonna lightly paint, we have pressure-sensitive tablets, so I can lightly paint a little bit of lava between the cracks of another texture. So the harder I push, the more that lava comes through. Isn't that awesome? I would have had to make all those separate textures if I wanted to do that last year. So I'm gonna add a little bit of vertex shading, we'll darken it a little bit, and pop a little red vertex on top of that, just to bring it out. Boom, done. Really cool. So, all right, hold off here. Thank you very much, but all these new tech examples have just made us make the world better and easier and more fun to make. Right, Marco?
Thank you, Gary. On the engine team, we're constantly thinking of ways we can improve the look of WoW and just generally make it easier to create content. For this expansion, we came up with a technique that allows objects to pick up the terrain texture in their vicinity. This way we can like embed caves into the terrain or do common things like put the terrain on the back of a gigantic turtle. We now also support secondary animation via dynamics. Hopefully we'll be able to bring those chains that Mark was mentioning to life. We're starting with a Pandaren belt. However, the largest enhancement in this version of the engine is in the lighting. Shadows in WoW traditionally only darkened the object rather than obscuring the light source. This resulted in a flat look, even for objects that have a lot of geometric detail. By changing how we calculate the lighting and how we apply it to the scene, we can improve this dramatically. This effect is achieved by looking at the depth information in the scene and then trying to figure out how a location is obscured by its neighbors and then combining that with the lighting. So this is just that mask getting applied here and then a few before-after shots. With these changes, we feel that we can make the environments look better than ever before in WoW, and we hope to give you many exciting vistas in your journey through Pandaria.
Thanks, Marco. Awesome work.